No, yeah, Billy. He's doing some paperwork for some stuff in his house and stuff. So.
I got you. This is episode 41, buddy.
41.
Well,
wow.
I take that back. It's probably closer to 40 because I know there's a few where I duplicated the episode. Like I did, like 1 week I said it was episode 32, but it was actually episode like 31. But then the next episode was 32, and so we're in like the 40. We're at least 40 though. I mean, we're in there.
Okay. I dig it.
And so I have this cool Quetzalcoatl talisman thing that David Brahms printed me as like a good luck charm for the snake room, right? And so I figured it'd be awesome if I took a metallic Sharpie and like did little.
Dude, it looks like Ouroboros.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm gonna hang it in the snake room. But I figured I'd give it a little more.
What's up, hen dog?
Make it a little cooler.
Yeah.
How was your
Brandon Wheeler in the house?
Well, it's on Facebook. So I have it now going to Facebook. I have it going to the THN Facebook page and the PCE YouTube channel. So.
I wish you would have told me that. I would have plugged more of the THN.
Well, I decided to do it last minute. So it was literally like 2 seconds before you hopped on. So
Nice. Dude, I'm loving it. We're on Facebook, simulcasting to Facebook.
I know.
Old school taxonomic illustrations as our backdrop. Who's better than us? You're hand painting a reptilian talisman. I love it.
I wouldn't say I'm painting.
You're inking.
Sure.
What's up, TE? Brennan's
What is going on?
Not much, man. Not much. I went through all my. I kind of neglected the critters after Daytona, just because I was just like swamped with like family stuff. And you don't know, I had a death in the family, and it wasn't bad, but it was like getting family together and COVID and all that other shit, figuring all that out. But it was good. It was good. And yeah, I finally went back to work on Friday. So I was like, oh God, I gotta do snakes. You know what I mean? And I forgot that I have some rescue cottons. So adults, like big enough to breed, but not like gigantic. And I left live rat crawlers in with them. And I was like, oh God, they're gonna kill them. They're gonna liquefy. And I'm going to have a disgusting mess. And I opened the drawers, and there's nothing there. I was like, fuck, they ate right off the bat. That's awesome. So that was a bad mistake on my part. A, leaving live prey in there. B, leaving it in there for like 4 or 5 days because I just neglectful. And sure as hell, they ate them. So
sometimes, man, I think that like dropping and then disappearing for the rest of the day. Like if you got those animals that are just really weird about food and they're very shy.
Yeah.
Feed them last, drop it, and leave, man. Come back to it, check it, later that day, the next morning, whatever. Because I think that's the case with this Subok I got. I think that Subok just needs to be left the hell alone. Because he still hasn't. I mean, he hasn't eaten for me, but at the same time, I'm really not all that surprised because it's a Subok, and it's a male Subok.
Yeah.
And they're not exactly known for being great eaters. So.
Yeah. What are you smoking tonight, sir?
Right now, it is a Rocky Sungrown, but I'm about to ditch it for a Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Brule Blue.
Very nice.
They only made a couple thousand of. I think they only did like 10,000 boxes of them. So.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's
release day.
It's what?
Release day. Anytime there's a new issue of the magazine, I intentionally make sure I pick out something very good and expensive.
Well, that's funny because this is not expensive, but I love the Tabernacles. They're growing on me, but I've never had a legitimate Lancero except for Monte Cristo Portofinos, which I mean technically is a Lancero. It's just, is it Connecticut? I think it is.
Yeah.
It's Connecticut with a Bono filler, but yeah, this is legit.
Those are good.
So
I smoked that one you gave me. So
yeah, that's right. I gave you one of these too. Shit, I forgot about that.
It was delicious.
So was your release day good?
It was. We were behind. I mean, this is actually coming out pretty cool, dude. Almost looks like that Abronia Frost Eye.
It does.
It'd be pretty
It's,
cool.
I told you, dude, it's like a melanistic cataphractus. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we were late. Usually we try to get issues out on the 27th, and unfortunately, obviously that didn't happen. Part of it was, well, I won't say a part of it. A lot of it was me coming back from Daytona and vacation and feeling like I never really left and just kind of being like lazy and unmotivated and sort of getting back into the swing of things. But Daytona, I mean, definitely did throw things off a little bit. So, but I mean, it's out. I can now get back to work on updating the website slowly but surely, getting everything got up there, and yeah, man.
Excellent.
Get to working on issue 12.
Fucking love it, man. Love it. What's up, Dan the man? Wait a minute. Is Dan on Facebook and he's on YouTube? Savage.
He would.
Look at that.
He's special.
He's special. He's a
No, I can't smoke out of it, Wheeler. It's 3D printed. That would be kind of cool if it was like a whistle or something, right?
Yeah, right. A kazoo.
Be a ref in soccer and whip this bad boy out. Be like,
Right.
y'all about to find out.
Tell Brahms he's got to like bore out the head and then make a straight line and just have it as like a pipe. You know?
Dude, this 3D printed stuff does not hold up to heat well. That would not work.
Yeah, plus you're like smoking plastic. That would be very bad. Hen Dog wants to know if we can simulcast to Twitch as well.
I don't think so. I think it just gives you the option of Facebook, YouTube. I think that's it.
Let me ask you a question. Can you hear my dog barking in the background?
I think I just heard a small yap, but no.
I left on National Geographic and he is being an asshole. You hear him?
No. Oh, yeah. Did he just bark?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can hear him a little bit.
Let me address this real quick. Excuse me, folks.
Dan. Thomas, that'd be awesome, dude. There's good money in custom pipes, too. A lot of people buy them. A lot of pipe nerds out there. What's everybody up to? Brahms printed these. He can't sell them because he got the the mold, not the mold, but the like the plans for making this with a 3D printer, like from some sort of community website. But it's pretty cool. You're supposed to like hang it in your room, and it's good luck. Which I mean, I'm not superstitious or anything like that. But when you're dealing with conjures and stuff, you know all the luck you can get.
Sorry about that, folks.
Unacceptable, Phil.
I had to beat the shit out of a dachshund. Not literally, just metaphorically.
How's the Daytona animals doing?
The Daytona Animal, because I only got one, is doing tip-top. It's amazing how inquisitive the female is opposed to the male who just hides all day long. For those of you who are not aware, I acquired a Queensland water python about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and then I wound up acquiring a male, and I acquired a female at Daytona that I'm 99.9% sure it's a flush mate, but the female is a little bit bigger than the male, and they're both super puppy dog tame. They're great, but the female is constantly
Just a little suspicious.
What's that?
Jimmy's saying just a little stitious. It's an Office reference.
Oh yeah. There you go. The but the female is super inquisitive to everything, and like I have the rack in my bedroom, just so I can keep tabs on baby stuff, and I'll be sitting there watching TV, and like I'll see like her nose come up and like checking out the tub, and like looking around, and the male I just never see him. Actually, I thought he was dead this morning because he was sleeping in the tub like this. And I was like, why is his mouth open? Like, why is he all like fucked up looking? And like I touched him and he was like, what was that? Immediately he thinks he's at the Albert Python, all cocked back and tongue going crazy. I was like, I'm sorry, man. You looked like you were dead. I had to poke you.
Wellness check.
So how were your Daytona critters? I saw
They are... Huh?
I saw them Jansenot pictures earlier.
Yeah, I treated them. So, I mean, people, if you get new snakes, and I'm not saying this to be preachy at all or anything like that, but if you get a new snake, I don't care if it came from Jesus himself. Treat it for mites regardless of if you see them or not. Not saying that I had an incident or anything like that. I just learned, and you really only have to learn this lesson once. You get something new, treat it preemptively regardless. Save yourself the headache. It's not going to hurt the animal. Just get it done and make it a non-issue.
It's true.
It's super easy. Like,
I spray down the front line in the tub before I put the substrate or the paper towel on.
I spray the actual paper towel or the puppy pad and let it dry out, like air out real good. And then I'll tuck it in there. And then what I've done with the plants in the Jansenite cage or tubs is put all the fake ferns, not both cages at the same time, not both ferns in the cage at the same time, but per cage, each go in a trash bag, and I spray that front line in there real good.
Yeah.
Rub it in, shake it up, and then I like tie it so it's like just fumigating.
It's good.
In there, and let it sit there for a couple minutes, not terribly long, just until I get the cage squared away. Usually I'll go do something while I, let the snake be treated in another tub, just on paper towel.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's easy. Like, 5-10 minutes, and I do it every 4 days. And it's like that mites like that. It's nice because most of us have probably dealt with mites at one point or another. If you haven't dealt with mites, I guarantee you're going to deal with mites at some point.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
What's up, Double D?
They're really, like, do they have the potential to be serious? Yes.
Yes.
But they are easy to kill. The only problem is just the way they reproduce and their numbers. They reproduce, like, exponentially. So you have to be consistent with treatment. You have to stay at it, even if you're not seeing mites. Like, I haven't seen any mites in the Jansenite now, especially the female, who was the one that I saw a couple. I didn't see a lot. I saw like 1 or 2 dead in the water bowl, which can quickly turn into a lot. But like I said, it's a matter of consistency. Like every 4 days or so, new puppy pad, cage furniture gets touched up. And then it's just, you have to stay with it even when you don't see them, because the way their life cycle works is kind of strange. Like they have 4 or 5 life stages. 2 of those, they're non-parasitic, but they're non-feeding, and you don't really see them. So, that they can survive like in areas for an extended period of time, which is kind of surprising given how small they are. So it's just a matter of, like, even if you don't see them anymore, you have to just keep treating, because there's a very good chance you're going to have eggs or something laying around. And if you just continue to stay at it, eventually you can stop and you won't see them anymore. And it won't be a problem because they'll be gone.
Yeah.
So just got to stay with it,
I've actually, I've seen animals that died of what we perceived, because obviously we're not veterinarians and we haven't cut anything open, but I've seen animals where we determined that it was straight anemia.
Yep.
From an overdose of mites.
Yep. They will literally like bleed the animal dry, like suck the animal dry. If they're taking red blood like that too, I mean, you got to think that animals are getting dehydrated because that water and stuff they need gets carried through the blood. And if the mites are eating that, the snake's not getting it, or it's just they're very easy to treat. They're very easy to kill. It's just a matter of like not taking your foot off the gas too soon. Just even if you think, hey, I think they're close to done. If you still have a gut feeling that you should hit them again, do it.
Yeah. Dominique wants to know, have you tried other mite treatments? Why do you like Frontline?
I like Frontline because I don't have to worry about killing the snake with it.
Very true.
I've used ivermectin solutions in the past. Ivermectin is an awesome drug. It kills a lot of things very easily, but the problem with that is if you use too much, you can kill your animal with it too.
Yes.
Especially chelonians. Like, you don't use ivermectin with chelonians at all. It will 100% kill them, like guaranteed you are going to kill your animal if you use ivermectin. And for whatever reason, just however it works, when it crosses the blood-brain barrier, and chelonians especially, it causes paralysis, and they don't come back from it. Like, when it gets into their brain and in their head, it wreaks havoc.
Yeah. Have you ever tried Seven Dust?
Have you ever tried what?
Seven Dust.
Like playing the band?
No. Seven Dust is a organic pesticide in a powder form that farmers use, or agricultural, horticultural, whatever. They use it to basically scare bugs away. It works like $1,000,000, and a lot of organic farmers use it because it is organic. It's a bunch of different minerals that are not toxic. It's not man-made. It's just a bunch of naturally occurring stuff, and it's like a brown, fine, almost like a baking flour. It's a very fine powder, and I was hesitant about it because it reminds you of pest strips. Like, it comes in that same old school generic cartoon packaging.
Yeah.
But I've used it with great success. Other friends I have in the zoo field have also used it with great success. But to me, it does not rid them. It's more of a strict preventative. I still am oh, that looks so cool, dude. That looks awesome.
I put silver on my head.
Looks good.
So let's check it out.
I used it. I'll mix in a couple pinches into the substrate, like sprinkle it around and then kind of fluff it, and it works. It works really well. I still do Frontline when I physically see the mites, but
is it like diatomaceous earth kind of stuff?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I've never really read the ingredients. It's like $8 for a container the size of like a large grated Parmesan cheese container.
Okay.
And it's like $8. You get it at Home Depot. It has like vegetables and animals on the front because it's non-toxic according to them. And I've never had issues with it. And if someone has, I'd love to hear their feedback on it. But like I said, I've had friends in the zoo field that used it. And Ryan Cox, Phil, 7 isn't organic. There you go.
I don't know. I get nervous about pretty much any of that stuff that's marketed towards like large animal yard stuff. The MSDS, yeah. So I use ivermectin. Ivermectin's kind of a pain because it's also light sensitive. So if you don't keep it tucked away somewhere, even the solution, if you don't keep it somewhere dark or in a dark spray bottle, it goes bad over time. It doesn't have a great shelf life once it does hit light. It works really well, but at the same time, like, I don't have to worry nearly as much with the Frontline as I do that ivermectin, because it's a very small dosage with ivermectin that you need.
So Cox just sent me a safety data sheet on product code, which I'm assuming is 7 Dust, T7, Decon 7 Systems. Recommended use, no information available. I can barely read tonight. Uses advised against, no information available. All right. Warning, causes skin irritation, causes eye irritation. Okay. And yeah, I was lied to because it's a bunch of fucking chemicals.
I don't know about you. I just prefer not to be the guinea pig when it comes
Hazards not otherwise classified. No. Okay. Yeah, see, this is all the stuff like if you breathe it in or like put it in your eyeball. Well, I'll put it this way. I have used it quite frequently over the years, and I've never had an issue. But upon further investigating, looks like I will probably stop using it.
Yeah, like I said, Frontline, man, it's just, aside from just having very strong smell to it, if you let it air out enough, because it's weird. Like, it smells like rubbing alcohol, but it's like oil based, and so it leaves like residue on surfaces. And I've sprayed I spray the inside of the hides with it too, and I wipe it out. So there's just like a dried coat of it on there almost.
Right.
Because I do the inside of the hides, I do under the water bowl. Any mites like dark spaces. So under the water bowl, under the hide, like all up in that fake foliage. Yeah. See, I knew Henry was going to pipe up and say predatory mites.
Yeah. There it comes.
Which actually, I'm not gonna lie, it would be pretty cool to see those kind of do their job, but
it just still freaks me out about introduce. I live in Florida, man. If it gets out of your house, it's going to live and breed and survive. So I just feel weird about it.
And I find that with the Frontline that I don't have to, like with the scrub, with the Jansen eye, with the little bears, everything that I got recently, I don't necessarily have to spray the snake with it. Like if I give them enough treatment regularly in the box, like they get that oil or that residue from the Frontline on their bodies, it does its job. I know the original video that kind of got everybody hooked onto the Frontline thing was that one Stephen Kotz did, where he had rubber gloves, he sprayed Frontline on his hands, he rubbed the snake down with it, got under the chin fold, around the oculars and stuff like that. And he never mentioned actually spraying it on the substrate, but I come to find, like I said, I take example. So if this is my puppy pad or my paper towel, I'll hold it a pretty good ways away. I'll just, as I'm going down, hit it, turn it over, hit it, one pull, keep it a light mist, and then I'll sit it out and let it dry for 5 or 10 minutes before I actually put it in there. And it has no odor after that, but even then, I've had some of the tubs where I hit the fake ferns and stuff really well, and it definitely smelled, but I haven't had any issues with the snake so far. But it works well. It's expensive, yes, but I've come to find that I think it's slightly more reliable than the ivermectin solution, just because you don't have to worry about it going bad. You don't know if you're using a solution that's bad.
Right.
Because the ivermectin, you can't tell if it's bad or not.
I've always actually diluted it too, and that way I can be a little more liberal with it and not have any kind of worry. So.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people do dilute it down too, but I never have. I've just used it straight out of the bottle. So.
What's up, Princess?
Good night. Put yourself in Ellen's back.
What are you doing? Okay. Why are you biting me?
Ellie, come on.
Strangling?
With your little
Tendrils. But I've never diluted it. No, I've never diluted it.
Yeah, what I'll do is I will dilute it into one of those Home Depot spray bottles, and I'll do 7 or 8 full squirts of the front line into the bottle, and then I will do like 1 squirt of antibacterial soap, just to kind of give it like a frothiness and like a
It breaks the surface tension and stuff too. I'm sure.
Yeah,
It helps
and
mix
then-
it up a little bit.
and then I'll just fill the bottle with tap water and shake it up real good and do all that. And that way, if I have to like hose the snake down with it and just douse them, I don't worry too much. But again, I still let all the air ventilate, and I'll take the lid of the tub and waft it out so that it's not just huffing fumes. So, but yeah, I had a long time, man. I had like 12 or 13 years with no mites, and then just came back around. And that was about 5-6 years ago. So.
They happen, man. It's just one of those things. I mean, you've worked in shops and stuff. You understand,
Oh yeah.
And the first time I got them, I remember I had the first Popwin carpet, or Irian whatever you want to call them. I mean, I had one and it had mites, and I ended up going and it was under its hide one day, and I went and looked, and that thing was dead and just had so many, crawling with mites.
Yeah.
And I was keeping it on like not maybe like the cocoa bark, like the cubed coconut.
Mm-hmm.
Before it, was sold in the big bales and stuff that it is now, whatever it's called, I forget. And I had no idea that they were in there, and that's one of the reasons why during quarantine I don't use substrates. I use paper towel. It sucks because with the Baird's rats and other colubrids especially, they like to tear that up. They try to get under it, and they end up bunching it all up in the middle of the tub and everything like that. But you see these things a lot easier. Mites, like I said, they're so small. They're very good at hiding. It just paper towel for the first handful of months until I know they're clean,
Right.
clean, and then I'll give them aspirin or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with the Cyanidon right now. Cyanidon's on quarantine and paper towels, and I quadruple the paper towels up so it's some kind of actual bedding, but I can see if there's stuff crawling around. The other thing too is I try to, if I use any like cork flats or cork rounds and stuff like that, I will put it in, take it out back of like my patio, and I'll just rake my hand across it a bunch of times to get all the little fuzzies and little crumbs off.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll see a ton of crumbs in the cage that are black and they look like they're alive, and it's not. It's just bark off of the cork. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times I got because I have a jeweler's loop that I used for cresteds when I was used to look for pores and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I'd see a little black speck, I'm getting that jeweler's loop and I'm looking, and I'm like, this better not be a mite.
Yeah.
It was almost always a piece of dirt.
Yeah. Another thing too is as much as I love to have decorative water bowls and like rock water bowls and like stuff that looks cool, the standard plastic, lightly colored, whether it be white or like opaque colored dog bowl works so well because you can see stuff floating in the water or sunken in the water. So I always try and keep my bowls super clean because I want to see if there's bugs dead in the water.
Yeah, and that's where, when it comes down to shopping for things for like a setup, like say people are new and they want, they just got their first Cow King or whatever you want to, insert species here kind of thing.
In the
people
case of
think
Dan, it could be a red eyeball bowl.
Like people think they have to go to PetSmart and spend $20 on a bowl.
Right.
It's like go to Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
Plastic bowls.
Yeah.
I go there all the time for that kind of stuff, and that doesn't make you like a bad keeper or anything like that, because at the end of the day, whether it's a rock-looking water bowl or a plastic water bowl, it's still a water bowl.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect the care of the animal.
Yeah.
Like fake plants, same thing. Like whether they come from Walmart, whether they come from Dollar Tree, whatever. I still recommend with fake plants soaking them in like super hot water, because sometimes the dyes and stuff in that will leach out, and so you want to leach those out as much as you can, especially the stuff that comes from China. But like that kind of stuff, you don't have to buy the fanciest thing around. Like, they all do the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Dawn says she uses 4-inch PVC end caps for water boys. I use those for hides. Those are super. I take those. I take like just a little hacksaw, or a bandsaw, or whatever, and just cut a little triangle out. It's super, because it's PVC. It's super soft, and so it cuts really easily. It's like the cheapest hide ever, because those things are like $1.50.
Yeah.
And they work perfect for small belugas.
My favorite is what P and Cody have, where they have a bunch of the really nice ceramic snake bowls, where they spent the money on the ceramic snake bowl, but inside the snake bowl is a microwavable, or not microwavable, excuse me, dishwasher safe plastic deli cup. And they have let's say they have 100 ceramic bowls, they have 500 or 1,000 plastic delis that are not only, completely dishwasherable, and they're not going to melt or whatever, but they're also recyclable. So if they get funky, you just ditch them and recycle them, and you're done with it. You know what I mean? Opposed to having to clean out and sanitize every single ceramic dish.
Yeah.
And then you drop on the floor and it cracks and breaks, and there's $5 down the drain, or whatever, however much they cost. So,
and I mean, for water bowls too, like Dollar Tree sells these 5-packs of deli cups. They're cheap plastic. They're flimsy. They don't have the same sort of structural integrity of like the ones you would get for shipping or anything like that. But for 5 of them, they're awesome. I mean, they're perfect. I just want a water bowl, Yeah. But yeah, when I was dealing with cresteds and I was feeding and using like those deli little 2-ounce sample cups for diet and food and stuff.
Yeah.
Any food I had left over, because it was so dried in there, I just throw it in with the dubias, let them clean it out completely, and then I'd recycle it.
Yeah, perfect.
And that's another thing, like getting use out of things, because instead of just throwing away all that Pangea, which Pangea is expensive. Think about it, like $20 a pound, like that's expensive stuff. Just let the dubia eat it, gives the dubia a little something extra, which goes to the geckos. Like, just nothing's wasted, I guess. And I was kind of like that, and that's why, I guess, segue again, like snakes that died of non-nefarious causes. You're not feeding those to. If you have somebody that has Crebos and they're looking for snakes,
exactly.
Why not? It's just if it died from like crypto or paramixo or whatever, like, don't bother. But it's neither here nor there.
Yeah. It was interesting. Matt and Jamie came down Sunday, which was yesterday. Wow, my days are all mixed up. And they went fishing with my roommate, and then they came and they hung out and they checked out the collection, because it'd been at least a year or two since they'd been over to see the collection. And it's funny because Matthew says to me, he goes, "Why do you have all these pygmy rattlesnakes?" And I was just like, "Because they're cool."
Awesome.
And Matthew, he's just like, "Okay." And I thought about it, and I was like, why do I have all these pygmies? Why do I have an entire CB70 rack filled to the brim with cottonmouths? And it's because I really like them. And then, he's asking me, he's like, so you plan on breeding them? You have some line projects? And I was like, well, I would love to do line projects down the line with cottons, but the pygmies are just there because I like them. The cottons are I really, really like cottonmouths, and I do really want to breed them, because I've never set it up on purpose. I've never intentionally paired a kistrodon. And he made the joke, he's like, "Oh, you're going to sell them for a whopping $20 each?" And I was like, I don't even know if I'd sell them. I'd probably just give them away to friends that want them. I know if I'd ever do produce them, Thomas is getting 4 right off the gate. Yeah. Oh, Henry, I've wondered that myself. Thanks a lot, Henry. Henry's like, yeah, have some stillborns so I can feed them off the snakes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, once again, they're not being wasted.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, they didn't die for nothing. They at least don't.
I thought it was interesting because Matthew was being a dick, because it's Matthew and I love him, but he also was kind of genuinely you have all this other stuff, you've got cobras, you've got rattlesnakes, you've got tree vipers, why rotten mouths? And I was like, they're awesome. They just are. I don't know. They're there.
Everyone's got their thing.
Everyone's got their thing.
He's got parrots. Why does he have parrots?
Exactly. He's got freaking birds. Birds. Who has birds?
Nerds.
Fucking nerds. So, but I went out herping last night for the first time in all summer, at least since probably the beginning of June, and like legit went out herping. And I drove 225 miles last night, and I didn't find a single reptile. Nothing. I found a handful of leopard frogs, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cane toads, one tricolored heron that was sitting on a high tension wire, which I thought was interesting because it was super high up. And I counted like 7 or 8 barn owls. And I've realized now that over the past 2 or 3 years that I've seen more barn owls in the cane field than any other bird of prey. And I realized that's why I'm not finding any snakes.
Probably. Does Florida not want people to like kill cane toads on site?
Well, see, here's the thing: is it used to be, I would say, in the late '90s, early 2000s, it was the mantra of kill every single warty toad that you see. And unfortunately,
started killing everything.
They killed everything. So, like, there's a couple different types of spadefoots that a couple phenotypes of spadefoots that are in like Palm Beach County, Martin County area, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They're
Spadefoots are cool.
Spadefoots are awesome. They're like the marbling pattern is white or cream colored, but the darker parts, instead of it being like brown or tan or like opaque khaki color, they're rich, like almost royal blue, like a dark blue. And dude, they're gorgeous animals. And like I've only seen like maybe 5 or 6 of those really pretty ones. The rest of them are pretty normal. But like, for example, we also have a Florida toad, and the Florida toad is, I don't want to say it's extirpated from my area, but I haven't seen one in maybe 10 years, 8 years, because all you see is cane toads. And I know like there's also the thought process of people know that they're supposed to kill them because they're helping the environment by killing them. But at the same time, it's like, dude, how many animals am I going to mercilessly kill? It's still a life. You know what I mean? It's like so much killing.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and that's always been my thing with like the berms and tegus and stuff, is like they're not supposed to be there. Like I'm not opposed to dispatching them in a humane way.
Right.
But at the same time, I agree. Like it is sad because they didn't ask to be there.
Right.
It's not their fault they're there.
Right.
They're collateral for a larger issue. But what they have to do what they have to do.
I remember there was a.
That's just like the iguanas. I mean, like Love is was talking about, the iguanas. You saw the video of the kids beating the shit out of an iguana with a shopping cart.
Yes, but at the same time, they're not doing it because they're quote unquote helping the environment. They're doing it because they're sick fucks.
Oh yeah, no, that was.
Yeah. I mean, call it what it is. When I was in high school, there was a class. It was actually entitled Outdoor Education. And it basically, the concept was teach suburban kids and city kids how to light a campfire, what you need to bring on a nature. Yeah, pretty much. Because like where I live, 15 minutes you're at the ocean, 15 minutes you're in the Everglades. And some of these kids, they've never been outside of like a city park. Like they just don't, And this was cool because it taught kids how to be outdoorsy a little bit, And there was a couple redneck kids, and every single time they found a cane toad on school, they would literally pick it up and like pelt it across the concrete, or they would pick it and they would punt it in the air with their shoe. And it's like, why would you do that? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that never like appealed to me. You know what I mean? I mean, shit, we used to go out and we'd catch, 100 cane toads in a night, all different sizes. And then we'd sell them to wholesalers for, $2 a piece, $3
What do they do with them? Like
they're selling them out of state as pets, because cane toads they're really cool. They get really good size. They eat damn near anything you give them. And I don't want to say they have like a little personality, but they have as much personality as say like a big giant bullfrog or a big pixie frog. So there's a lot of people that had, Bufo marinus as a pet, you know.
I feel like if any state in the U.S. heard that you had cane toads as a pet, like they'd come busting your door down because they're so mortified of it taking over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like Colorado river toads. Like Colorado river toads, the only animal that's regulated by the DEA. Everyone wants a Colorado river toad because they're the drug frog, Meanwhile,
Joe Rogan said they're awesome.
Right. There are other frogs that are way more psychedelic than them, but they have the stigma of being the frog that you lick, blah, 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 the cartoons, the TV shows, all that jazz. There's a species of Balaniatus, or a phenotype of Balaniatus from the Amazon, that the local tribesmen refer to it as the master hunter frog. And somebody who's an amphibian guy is going to correct me or, correct my story. It's fine. I'm just reciting what I remember. Apparently what the local tribesmen do is they catch these waxy frogs and I don't know if they kill them or they piss them off, but they get the poison and they rub the poison on the inside of a leaf and they smoke it before their hunt. And it basically is a hallucinogenic that gives you
their third eye.
It opens their third eye, but it's hardcore tunnel vision. So like not only are they tripping balls, but it's legit tunnel vision in like one spot. And they think it's like telescopic, like they think it's like a spotting scope or a sniper scope. And then when they use their bows and arrows, they use their blowguns, they're fixated on the monkey or they're fixated on the bird, and they have the master huntership.
I'm going to have a hard pass on that. Yeah. I ain't getting tunnel vision in the freaking Amazon, dude.
Yeah, well, these guys live there. You know what I mean?
You remember that movie Apocalypto?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when that dude got bit on the neck by the freaking bombs?
Awesome.
I remember seeing that for the first time going like, no! You see that thing just shoot out the tree and just hit him right in the neck. I was like, that sucks.
That movie is so good.
That movie's good. And then the lady has like the water birth and the whole little baby just pops and floats to the surface like a little submarine with the umbilical cord still attached.
Yep. Oh, God. Oh. Dominique says we need an episode called Toads and Trips where we both lick toads and then everyone else gets to enjoy the high. I'm not doing that.
I've never
Nope,
been into drugs. Like I don't even really drink. Like I drink at Daytona, as we all know. But
yeah, we do.
I never got into weed or anything. I just never.
It's not for me, man. I like to be in control of my life. It's not for me.
Unless you're in the safety of the ocean front.
Right. What's funny is there was a individual who used to work
on Jesus.
Right. There was an individual who was a frequent drug user who happened to work at a wholesaler in South Florida, not underground. And this individual was so high out of their mind that they had the bright idea of what happens if you lick a cane toad. And some other individuals that were not the nicest of people said, well, you don't lick it, you smoke it. And they're like, well, what? It's like, yeah, you get the poison, you dry it out in the microwave, and then you smoke it. Not realizing that it's like 10 times more potent than arsenic. And this individual, oh yeah, like a dried Bufo marinus poison is super duper toxic. I mean, it may not be 10 times more potent. I mean, I'm pulling numbers out of my butt, but it is incredibly toxic.
It's serious.
It's legit serious. Yeah, in its dried, pure form. Well,
I guess if you think about it, it makes sense because they kill pretty much anything that has its mouth around it. Like you see pictures in Australia of like every snake that has a cane toad in its mouth is dead.
Yeah,
and the cane toad dies regardless. Like,
right.
Stupid.
But this person, she smoked it. And it messed her up real bad. She did like one little and she was vomiting and crying and just not high, just sick. And well, I'm going to the hospital, and I'm pretty sure they pumped her stomach. But
Why would you pump your stomach in your lungs, in your blood?
because they thought that she took pills or something. And yeah, it was bad.
Yikes.
I was not part of it at all. I wasn't even there. It was just told to me by her after the fact. So
I don't care who it is. If someone says, like, gives me something and says, "Here, you should totally smoke this," I ain't smoking.
Yeah.
Unless it's a cigar, and it's still sealed, like with the label, like the barcode and everything.
Yep.
Nah, sorry. I don't know how people do it anymore these days, dude. You got like the fentanyl and stuff like that floating around. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know what people do to this stuff.
Well, my county fixed the flocka problem, and like this is what I understand. So Broward County, Florida, had the worst flocka problem in the world, and it's spice as well. Remember when spice was a
I
thing?
do. I was playing music at one point when spice was like the thing, and I remember my guitarist at one point smoked some, and he was like sitting on the back porch trying not to vomit for like 3 hours. He said it was the worst experience. He said it was so bad. He felt so sick. Like any loud noise or anything like that, he would have just puked. He said he felt nauseous the entire time.
Right. So my county, the sheriff's office, basically did some detective work and figured out what facility in China was producing the flocka. And
what is flocka?
Flocka was
I'm not hip enough.
Flocka was basically a synthetic drug that got you high as fuck to the point where your mind is just gone. Remember bath salts?
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to that. Strip down naked, think you're on fire,
eat people's face.
Oh yeah. And bath salts was all part of this investigation that Broward County Sheriff's Office did. And they went to China and they found a factory that was producing bath salts and spice and flocka, and they found this out and they got with the Chinese government. And they're like, listen, we're going to have major problems because you people are making it, but you're not using it. Our people are using it, and they're dying, and it's causing crime, and it's not good.
And it's Florida. We already have enough problems as is.
Right. So China, and again, someone correct me, fact check me the shit out of me, because I only hear what I say. I guess they made it the death penalty to produce it in China, and because of that, it just stopped, and like we don't have it. It's gone.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense because I remember, like, everyone was talking about it at one point and how bad it was. Like, what are they going to do about it? And then it was like you woke up one morning and you never heard the word spice again, like unless you're talking about cooking.
Yeah. Well, it's
really
like so. A few years back, my friends and I, we used to go to downtown Fort Lauderdale all the time. We were, young and had more income, whatever, I don't know. And we would go downtown 4 or 5 nights a week, grab dinner, grab some beers, and go home. We'd carpool because we all live near each other. And you would see like a young girl naked, pouring sweat. Her eyes are rolled back into her head, and she's like convulsing and twitching, but like also like breakdancing while standing up in an empty abandoned parking lot. And you'd drive up to her, roll your window, and be like, "Miss, are you okay? Are you okay?" Like think like she's got attacked or something.
Power of Christ compels you.
Right, and she would literally speak in tongues. And she would go, and it's like, wow, this bitch is fucked up. Yeah.
And like EMS probably like, man, I feel like they probably saw that on like a daily basis. They're like, here's another one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Billy has stories.
Oh yeah.
There was a short time because Narcan's over the counter now in Florida. So what you can do is basically the junkies, they go and they get Narcan and then they use it on each other when they OD. So their body is, I don't know if it's developing an immunity to it or the body can only do it so many times.
It loses its efficiency.
Yeah, I'm not a medical guy. I have no idea, but I know that there was a couple sheriff's offices or a couple fire departments locally that basically wrote a policy where if they've come to your if they have themselves given you Narcan more than 3 times, they legally don't have to give it to you again, which I don't think is a problem.
This was
Yeah,
rough, man.
yeah. There was
Yeah, Matt. Perfect example.
Matthew having 5 Red Bulls on the drive to Daytona. It's a 4-hour drive. But what I do think is interesting how sometimes, I'm sure Billy has stories like this, is the EMS firefighter rescue guys, they'll get someone in the back of the ambulance, they'll give them the Narcan, they'll snap out of it, and then they'll get mad. The patient will be mad at them that they broke their high. Like, you're dying on the gurney.
Right.
They snap you back to life.
You had no pulse.
You have the audacity to get mad at them because they fucked up your high. Oh, Jesus.
It's a crazy world we're living in now.
It's a crazy world we're living in now.
I mean, not that it hasn't always been crazy to some degree, but it's pretty crazy right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't have to remind anybody of that. We all know.
2020, baby.
So,
2020.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how did this year's Daytona compare to previous ones?
I would say that if COVID wasn't a factor, it was a shit show. But because of COVID, I think it was actually a really good show. I think that people handled it accordingly in terms of social distancing. I feel like, yes, everyone gets crammed up into a table because they're all infatuated with the animal they're looking at, but then you realize everyone goes, oh shit, I'm elbow to elbow, I gotta back up a little. And then you kind of see them spread out a little bit and social distance themselves. I think there should have been more vendors. I think a lot of vendors didn't come because of COVID, or they didn't come because they thought it was going to be a bad show or whatever. Also, travel. Travel's tough because of COVID and money and everything else.
Speaking of, you asked me at one point about like COVID checkpoints coming into Florida and leaving Florida.
Yeah.
Not a one.
Really?
I think there were optional ones that you could have gone to if you wanted to.
Right.
Wide open from Florida to South Carolina.
Okay,
Not even in Georgia.
Interesting. But I think it was a good show. I think it was a good show for the vendors. I think it was a good show for the attendees. I feel like it could have been bigger. I feel like it could have had more vendors. I feel like it could have had more attendees. But I don't think it was a waste in any way whatsoever. I think it was a good show.
All things considered.
Would you concur with me?
Compared to last year, I mean, I give it a probably light to decent 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think last year was way better. I really do. Do you think last year was better?
In terms of selection and sort of species diversity, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we had all our friends there this year. That's why we went,
Right, and I mean, even if Daytona hadn't happened, I still would have been down there. Like,
right, exactly.
Even if it's just sitting around every day, smoking cigars until it's time to go home. Like,
yeah, and not
vacation to me. $11 margaritas.
Right? Fucking fried fish, alcohol.
It was good. It was, I don't know, it's like the one thing that I keep thinking about that's interesting to me is just the fact that there was a lot of rough scale pythons last year compared to what we would normally see on pretty much any show on any tables.
Right.
And then this year there wasn't a single one.
But now, were the people that produced them the year prior, were they still there?
Weisler was.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
And
there was another table that I think was there that had some too. I can't remember exactly.
For example, Weisler was there, but now did he not have any babies because he took a year off?
Possibly. I don't know. I didn't ask. I just thought it was interesting that you went from having 4 tables that have rough scale pythons, which is like unheard of, I think, almost at Tinley. To having none at all. I mean, even the subox. Like, there was 1 table with subox, and that's where I got mine from.
Yeah.
Which I guess is kind of to be expected, but at the same time kind of surprising, because it's like subox aren't exactly popular. They're not exactly easy to breed. Like,
they used to be.
They did. A lot of that Texas stuff, man. Remember when Alterna were the thing?
Yep. Dude, Arizona Mountain Kings. Block Eye, Paroma.
Like late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. Like, those were the friggin' jam.
Yep.
And the sulfur water monitors.
Dude, Theri, like multiple different types
Ruthvens.
of Ruthvens. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it just went that the people that were producing them just kind of stopped. And now you're seeing a resurgence of people that are like, oh my God, remember when we had Ruth and I? We should get some
That
Ruth.
nostalgia sort
Yeah.
of factor. Yeah.
I have not.
I haven't seen a Ruth and I for sale in I don't know how long. Like,
Yeah, very long time. I did not get a chance to read your NRBE 2020 COVID. I will be reading that this evening.
I thought it was kind of.
You didn't like it?
I don't know. I never liked any of the stuff I read.
It's not for you to like, it's for us to like, bitch. By the way, thank you. My pictures in my article look fantastic. Thank you.
That came out good.
Thank you very much.
That ended up being like the perfect amount. Like it was, I kept the same page amount from last issue, and on like the last page of your article, it was like the end of your article, Patreon, back cover, and I was like, fuck yes!
Good.
I was like, man, I'm gonna have to like finagle another page out of this somehow, and
yeah, that was 1,939 words, I think.
it's perfect.
So now I know to keep it in that ballpark. So
yeah, it worked out.
Good shit. So yeah, I was gonna ask you that whole swollen mouth thing on my Darwin. Casey put my mind at ease. He's like, dude, their face swells up sometimes. Don't worry about it. I'm like, all right, phew, thank God. And then Matthew was telling me that he's seen a bunch of his snakes. They would drink a lot of water, and their face would get bloated. So I wonder if maybe he just guzzled water before I cleaned his cage.
I don't know. I know, like chondros, especially, they look like they're messed up when they're going into a shed cycle. Like we call it shed head, and they look like shit, man.
Really?
And it's like, oh, you think something's wrong at first, especially the yellow ones, because it's kind of hard to see them sort of pale out a little bit. Like with those, it's harder to see them going into a shed cycle. The reds, it's obvious, but the yellows, it's a little tougher. And you'll see them with their head like that, and you're like, oh God, what's happening? And then you'll be like, oh wait, you'll take a closer look, and they're going into a shed cycle.
Yeah, when I first opened the bin and I looked at him, like I obviously had a food response, so like he bum rushed me, mouth closed. But when he was coming at me, I could see that this side of his face was just swollen, like almost like he had a bum tooth, And I was like, oh my God, what the hell happened? Like maybe his last feed, something went twisted and swollen or whatever. Dominique says, my green tree python looks like he is smuggling a football in his mouth when he sheds. Okay, well there you go. That puts my mind.
Yeah, they all look like complete ass.
Yeah, but see, I never got that before. Like in any of my animals. That's why I freaked out when I saw it. I was like, what the fuck's wrong with his face? And the more I played with him, it almost looked like it like went down a little on one side and like equalized on the other. So I was like, all right, Casey's probably right. I'll just put him back in his bin, leave him alone, and he'll shed in 2 days and be done with it. So.
Casey continually surprises me with his infinite wisdom.
Casey is the man. He really is. I want to make him a new logo because he mentioned that he was like logo shopping or whatever. I want to do something. I want to make him something.
Do a cannon shooting, but it's a Brettles head with its mouth open.
I've thought of something along those lines, but not so.
Or it's that picture of him that I keep posting as an emoji.
That picture? Yeah. That boy can stack some cans.
I love that guy, man.
Yeah. He's fucking great people, man. Great people. I talked to him this morning. We were bullshitting. So.
Mango's looking good, though, Henry.
Oh, you got to see, Hendog sent me a mango chest shot today, and I'm going to share it because it's a damn good looking critter. I'm
still waiting for my King article.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, Justin. It's going to be a while. All right, screen share, application window. There's Mango. There he is. Look at that majestic fuck. How great is he looking? So Hendog tells me that the creamsickly orange on the outer sides of the hood, that is a true color. However, that light peachy, creamy center is actually bright pink. And that the flash from the camera or the
I
light
believe it.
from the room. Yeah. And I especially love how his face is still his face still here is still light and pale. And then it kind of comes up into like that pseudo smile up in there.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's
still
crazy how clean that orange goes into that black.
Right? Like it's
How
so
sharp that edge is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nuts.
And like this dotted line right there looks great. Can't wait for him to get bigger. It's gonna be so good looking.
Henry, what does this mean? Don't tease me like that. Message me on Facebook or something. You can't do that to me. That's what keeps me up at night. Every night I go to bed and I stare at the ceiling and I say, man, when's Henry going to send me that King Cobra article? And at 11:11 every night, I make a wish that Henry will send me something saying, I'm working on this King Cobra article, man, and it's going to be awesome. And it's going to be like 10 pages long, and it'll be perfect.
Well, let's put it this way. I know for a fact, I don't want to speak for the hen dog, but there is a lot of taxonomic stuff due to come out in the near future revolving around the Ophiophagus genus. And I think Hendog kind of wants to wait and see how that kind of plays out before we legit do some writing.
Are they pulling a Forest Cobra scenario?
Yes, but in my opinion, worse. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there was enough genetic diversity between like the Chinese and the Thai and the other stuff to be able to be like, yeah, these have been separated long enough to be a separate thing.
Yeah. I wanted to share this. I'm super proud of this snake, and this snake's in shed, like it's about to shed, and he looks like a bag of, as Carly would say, a bag of hammered assholes. But he's so dark, and I am just loving how dark he's coming. Total Jake bait. That's a farmed IJ, and that thing is just looking good. I mean, it's kind of a bad picture because my arm takes up most of the camera, but
Why is it hanging out in that bush?
what's that? I get it. But like, if we just look here,
It
like,
looks almost freaking xanthic.
look at this, like just a little bit of tan up in here, and then like this gray here obviously is not normally there. He's gonna shed pretty hardcore. But like even some of the little brown blushing in here, and like how the lines are just broken, just animal just looks good. Some straight up Jake bait.
You've summoned him. He'll probably show up now. He posted the picture up.
Good. Say, Jacob Bratz, look at the snake.
Do you think people were jacking the prices up at Daytona because of the whole COVID thing?
No, I think people are jacking the price up because they know that they've produced a quality specimen and they feel it's deserving of it. The guy the guy who had hatchling Mollendorfi, they were $350 a piece. I think that is a fair price for a 4 or 5 month animal. I don't know if that's a fair price for something that's only like 2 weeks old or a week old. Because, like, dude, as small as those babies were, as big as those babies were, they had not eaten yet. No way in hell they ate. But if they were maybe 4 or 5 inches longer, I would have totally paid $350, $400 for that baby.
I don't know. I wonder just because, like, maybe some prices had been higher because people weren't sure what the turnout would be, and so to make up for the lack of traffic, they're trying to squeeze a little more, get a little more juice out of the orange.
I don't know. See, the other problem too is that because I am really only looking for specific stuff, I neglect to look at I neglect to look at other animals and prices. Like, for example, I saw there were some locality-specific inland California king snakes that were just champion looking. Like, I'm not a cow king guy at all, but they just looked really, really like bandy good looking, right? And they were 125 each, and I felt that was more than fair for that. I mean, yeah, cow kings are a $4 snake in my opinion, but the locality specific, the cleanness of the animal, the healthiness of the animal, I felt like that was okay. I didn't really look at, and yes, Dominique says, Jake's like Beetlejuice. Say IJ 3 times and he magically appears.
Hey, man. What's up, bro?
He's not even here to defend himself.
So, Hen Dog said, as far as the taxonomic thing with kings, he gave me an example. He said Northern Thailand, Western Thai, Western Thai, and Eastern Myanmar, going all the way up to Yunnan and Northeastern Thailand, are all the same population of animal genetically. Southern Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, possibly Borneo are another genetic clave, and there's more. So, I guess it's a little more broad than I had thought.
Yeah, it's pretty diverse, and Hen Dog, God bless him, he is learning the phenotypes and is basically at the point now where Henry can look at an animal and honestly guess the locality, which I think is fucking amazing. Like, I know very few people who can do that.
Yeah, that's freaking impressive. I'm gonna get some water real quick.
Do what you gotta do.
Entertain.
Yes, sir. With pleasure. So how else was everyone else's week? We took a couple weeks off because of podcast stuff and Daytona, and yeah. But how's everyone else doing? I think it's awesome that we're on Facebook and YouTube right now. I think that's fantastic. Anybody who's on Facebook, you can comment in our live comment thing. Yeah. Awesome. IJ. Damn it. Fucking Jake. I do realize that it is kind of poopy because Justin starts this feed and I join into the feed, so therefore I cannot comment on here, nor can I throw up people's comments on the screen. Gotta find a way to do that. Gotta find a way to share that ability.
Thirsty.
Well, I said IJ 3 times and Jake did not fucking appear. So clearly it does not work. Dominique says, tell us about your Daytona pickups. Well, I found this lovely young lady from Cincinnati, Ohio. Her name is Dominique DeFalco. And I did not
horrible influence.
What's that?
Said she's a horrible influence.
She's a horrible influence. I did not pick her up. But it was lovely to actually meet her in person. That was fantastic. Because Dominique and I talk several times a week. Usually it's me FaceTiming her to annoy her. But it was awesome, like, seeing her in person for once and realizing that she's not overly taller than me. But yeah, I only got one animal in Daytona. I got that water python. Justin made out like a bandit. Billy made out like a bandit. Did Casey take anything home?
I have no idea.
I know Casey sold a few animals, but I didn't know if. Oof! Look at that,
dude. So I'm like obsessing over this animal. That's a freaking Baird's, man.
Yeah.
And of course, location private.
Yep.
I have no idea where that animal is.
I wonder, you can't message the person?
I mean, I probably could, but then they'd probably be like, why do you want to know? I mean, that's just like, that's awesome. I don't know. It's like the if a rat snake was Apodora.
Yeah. legit. It almost
I
looks,
love like the one or two red scales, like,
and that's what I was going to say is if it didn't have those flecking in there, you would almost think that it's xanthic
or that it was fake and made it look
Yeah.
like.
or Photoshop, to say the least. And here's the thing too: is the more you move that photo around, like zoom back in on there real quick. The more you move that photo around, you can see where the pinkish blotches would be, and it makes you wonder if it is an altered photo. But then you see green leaves and green vegetation in the rocks, and you know that it's not. But if that is an animal in situ, that is the ultimate camouflage. Look at it.
Yeah.
It matches perfectly.
I mean, I think I have some ideas of where it might be, but I'm definitely not.
No, I will not be. I will not be attending the Fire Expo. I work Saturdays, so it's very difficult for me to get time off to go to a weekend show. No, I think that you should. Justin, I think you should message that person and say, "Hey, you know, I'm a research enthusiast on Baird's rats, and if you would be so kind as to tell me the locality of that animal, you know, they don't have to tell you exactly which street they found it on, but if they told you, oh yeah, it's from, you know, Bob's County, Texas, then you have an idea of what animals you may want to focus on."
So here's a good example of the Mexican.
Nice.
And the way you can tell Mexicans is because of that clear cutoff of the gray into the regular coloration. Like that is a, like, you do not see Texas Bairds that have that going on. So for anyone that's curious, and this one is Tamaulipas.
Where's that?
Specifically Victoria, and it's Fagecias del Noreste de Mexico. So, Tamaulipas is right here, and so you can see the pockets of Bairds too. Like, this is what I like about iNaturalist, is you can kind of like look at it and see. I'm curious as to what this is all about, because
What is that?
it's saying there's a Bairds in San Diego, which should not be the case. If it is, it's got to be like a released. Man, I mean, sure as shit, that's a Bairds. Huh.
And that's San Diego, like California?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wait, zoom in on that head.
Oh, is that? Yeah.
Dude, that's not a Baird's rat head.
That's a Baird's, man.
But look how tight the nostril is to the
I know.
eye.
Well, that's the thing, is I have a few that have that going on, and from what I understand, talking to some people, that's also a Mexican Baird's. I mean, look at that head. Like,
Yeah.
Ones that are underfed at a younger age get this like stunted snout sort of thing going on. But I mean, you look at how far away that is from everything else. Like, I have a very hard time believing that had to be something that got out, I would think.
Maybe.
I mean, this is where we know that they're in like the Nuevo Leon. We know that they're in like the Tamaulipas area. Like, we know the pockets in Mexico that they're found, but I mean, you look at how far away that is. That don't make any damn sense, man.
Right. That's crazy.
Presumably, this is an escaped or released former pet. You track Troy Hibbets, which Troy Hibbets to me is like the guy for Bairds. But yeah, man, that's wild.
Nice.
But I'll show my level of nerd here. So I've got a folder. Of Nothing but Baird's locales. I got it broken down into Mexico and Texas. Unknowns. And basically, I'm going through iNaturalist, saving all those pictures, and then putting it in its own folder with the county that it's found in, so I can kind of compare and look around when this thing decides to cooperate. But there's like 20-something folders in that folder of just different localities and ranges and stuff like that.
I was going to ask, I forgot when we were talking about colubrids and just people getting back into them. I was going to ask Victor, how's them tangerine Hondurans, man? Because like I had them back in the day.
Earlier.
What's that?
I just saw a picture earlier of hatching some.
Yeah, and like, dude, your tangerines look tip top, bro. Tip top. I like where you can still make out that it's a tricolor. It's not just red and black. I really, really like that. I also feel like the ghosts just, like, no pun intended, disappeared.
I like the I like Hondurans a lot.
Smoking too much. But yeah, I think I'm going to dive into talking to you guys. It was the last time we were on the show when we were talking about rat snakes. I really think I want to try and do Everglades. I think I want to catch some more, and I think I might pick up that one funky one underground if it's still there. Because even though it didn't have the right colored tongue, that thing was neon. And
Dude, that thing's awesome. Forget the tongue thing. It's a good looking snake.
It's a good looking snake. You're right. Yep. I think I might do that. The Everglades.
Dude, let's get some marmosets.
Like the monkey?
Yeah.
You may have just lost your co-host.
Why?
Fuck.
There's some on fauna right now, man. They're cool. Look at the little guy.
They're adorable. They're super cute. I love all the little sounds they make. They're stupid cute. But no, I don't trust any animal shy of a dog that can open a doorknob. Don't like it. Not for me.
That's why you have locks, man.
Okay. Sure.
Would you ever own a capybara?
I would, in a New York minute, own a capybara.
Well, there's some on fauna right now. They're $600 each, $1,500 for a trio. Shipping available. I don't know how you ship a capybara. But...
Well, they're babies. You just put them in a little dog carrier. Yeah, I would totally have a capybara. Like, if I had, like, room, I would totally do that.
What the hell's a bushy-tailed jerd?
I don't know. Sounds like something Jake yacked up at a...
I don't know. Me and Pia were talking about this when we ran to one of the supply stores. She's like, yeah, you can buy, like, anything on fauna, like elephants and shit. And so I'm curious. I'm looking on here now. Coatimundis, those are cool.
Nope, not for me.
Why?
Jay used to have Coatimundis, and he hand-raised them, and they were super cool, and... They only really liked, like, me, his daughter, him, and maybe, like, one other guy that came around the shop. Anyone else, and would literally try and rip your face off. I'm like, I'm not about that. I don't want that. Plus, I can't leave it in a vision cage for a week with no food and water.
What a bizarre world.
So Victor said, thanks, they were 74 days. That's awesome. So how many different types of tricolors do you have? Because they're cool.
Speaking of eggs, my Cyane eggs are still looking really solid.
I saw the picture you posted earlier.
They're looking real good. So, looking at mid-November, I think, on those.
Mid-November? And are you continuously hydrating that sphagnum moss that's in there?
No, I mean that container's completely sealed. Like there's no air holes in it or anything like that. Every other day I go and just I burp it and then close it back up. I added springtails. I added more springtails to it, so I added some originally before the eggs went in there, and then I just went and added a bunch the other night. So
will springtails eat mold?
Yeah.
Perfect. Beautiful.
I think those do, because I remember when I had the Baird's eggs in there, and maybe this is, they didn't make it, so maybe this is why I saw so many springtails on the eggs, but I remember seeing springtails crawling all over those eggs, and I mean, maybe it was because they had died and they were just whatever, but I don't know. I think, even if it's minimal, I think there is some sort of benefit.
Sure.
They're helping keep things fuzz-free and doing their thing, so.
Oh, Victor, man, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. He says one of his males had a king tail and bred 2 of his females. One laid 7 slugs and the other didn't even go. That sucks.
Yeah, that blows. I need to put my Baird's back together.
Did you do the hydrogen peroxide for that or no?
No.
No? Did you just use tap water? Or?
No, I use my filtered water.
Okay.
I don't use my tap water for anything. Like everything, if it's going in a cage or it's going in eggs, like it goes through that pure filter before I do anything.
Nice. Triple heads are cool. That'll work. Do you have any of those ghosts or no, Victor?
Ooh, that is a good looking super caramel. Holy smokes!
Throw it up. I'm gonna get some more pink lemonade.
Ooh.
That's how I am.
Ooh. Look at that. Mike Cross. $2.95 plus shipping is not bad. Look at that thing. My God. Ooh. See what else we got. I check fauna regularly every day. I got to, just to see what kind of stuff's on there. Check the hot sheets. Abbott line Oketees. Pretty standard looking bears.
Shopping for more capybaras, are we?
No. Is this the guy that was selling? Oh yeah. 1,900 for 2.2 bears.
$1,900
Yep.
for 2.2 Baird's rats.
Not bears. Jansen and I.
Oh, okay. I love when people post their shed pictures. Like
That matters, right?
It's stretched out. Like it's got to be at least 2 to 3 feet longer than it's supposed to be. Like it's stretched. Like it's not a good sales pitch. You suck. I just asked my roommate if he was double head anery exanthic leucistic head for herpes, and he said probably.
Nice. Look at this beast.
That is a pretty diesel animal. That's also
It looks very good. Looks like it's it's in really good shape. Look at that.
That's a grip and grin picture, though.
Huh?
That's a grip and grin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hands down.
I feel like at some point I'm gonna end up with some oxys too. Like
Yeah, I could see you doing that.
150 for that ain't bad. Fully established and dewormed.
Yeah. It's pretty good. How old is that?
Young adult, which could mean 2 years, could mean that ain't a 2-year-old snake, but
No.
Could be 5. It could be 10. Like,
Are we timing it before? How long before Hen Dog says something like Cobra food or something?
we should make it a drinking game. Let me show
Right.
you that caramel. Look at that.
Caramel. The caramel colubrid.
Look
Wow.
at
Boom.
that. Oof.
That looks like a Werther's original if I've ever seen one. Good shit. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually really stoked about Billy getting the Carinata because I know he's gonna produce some bomb ass offspring, and that might be something I get behind in the future. Dominique says that this is turning into the QVC channel, just watching Justin shop on farm. Sorry that we don't have a better show for you this evening. Feel free to tune in next week. So yeah.
And it looks.
Henry says they look super tasty. Now drink. Don't mind if I do, Hen Dog. Don't mind if I do.
There's more to life than just King Cobras, Henry.
Apparently. What's funny is I bought Henry a gift like 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, and because of scheduling and COVID and just us being wrapped up in our lives, I haven't seen him in like at least a month. It's crazy, and I still haven't given him his gift. But I get to see Henry on Wednesday, and that makes me happy.
Old Hen Dog.
Old Hen Dog.
Never joins us. He just lurks in the shadows.
I know, right? You know, if Henry had like a real computer, maybe he could join in and not, I mean, the last time or the only time.
all his money on Kings.
On his what?
He spent all his money on Kings.
That is true.
He's busy. He's busy.
Yeah, now, because of Matt Somerville, Henry has a hard-on for Pseudonagia ingrami. And I'm like,
what is that?
that's the Western barred dugite. Throw up a picture, Justin. We'll keep Dominique enthused. Yeah, any of the Western Pseudonagia I think are absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'm a sucker for khaki snakes, so you know, if it's khaki, I'm on it.
Khaki and tacky boy.
Khaki. What are you wearing? Khakis. Boom. There it is.
Looks like an Aurora house
Do
snake.
that. What's that?
So it looks like an Aurora house snake.
Yeah, something like that.
Just pissed. Little wannabe cobras. See, Henry and his Elapids, man.
Dude, they're awesome. They're awesome. I just can't do anymore, man. I just can't do the poo. And like, I know I have Dramarchon, but like, just the Lapids, there's so much poo. So much.
I've always had an obsession with capes, man.
Yeah. Oh, I need to show you the cape that Henry sent me earlier. Yeah, that's the cape of all capes.
What the hell? See, I always thought these were the most toxic of the cobras, but apparently it's Samarensis.
Samarensis, really?
Yeah, according to Cody, he said that's like the one, like the most toxic of all the cobras. I mean, Henry could probably chime in, but I always thought it was capes. I think capes are the most toxic of all the Africans.
I was going to say, I thought the most toxic cobra, like drop for drop toxicity, was Oxyana. That was to my knowledge. And the fact that there's no specific antivenom for Oxyana makes it all the worst. Henry, can I show the picture of the Cape Cobra you sent me earlier, or was that for our eyes only? And yes, Henry has a huge infatuation with blue coral snakes. So Henry says Philippinensis is the most toxic.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe. Is it the most toxic in Asia or just the most toxic in general?
That boring looking snake.
Yep, that boring looking snake. No, I think Philippinensis are actually really pretty. Like Cody's got one, and it's super duper pretty.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as pretty as the Samar, but they're still very pretty. Oh, so here is Henry sent me this earlier. I do not know the backstory to it, but this is a black Cape Cobra.
Wow.
Yeah. Very impressive. There's actually another picture. Let me see if I can get that one up. That's a better picture. How's that? You see that?
Yeah.
Nice. It's a handsome animal, man. If you were on the opposite end of the continent, you'd swear it's a Legionus.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's awesome. But you know, nothing beats that.
Water cobras don't count.
Yeah, water cobras do not count at
True
all.
cobras, Henry.
Yeah. Excuse me, Naja Nana, pardon me. Nothing beats the Reptiles Magazine centerfold of the Cape Cobra in the Namib Desert, festooned across a dead bush in the desert. That centerfold picture.
That reptile centerfold.
That picture, I don't want to say that's what got me really into Venomous, but that picture did so much for me interest-wise as a child that awesome.
I'll tell you what.
What?
So Gio was working the mamas and stuff, right? Well, he also cleaned the Hajj cages,
Right?
and he had Cody has one male that's real pissy.
What, normal Haje?
I don't think so. It's the darker ones, like chocolate, like dark, like
Almost
dried,
red?
like dried blood red. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Ethiopian. That's
Yeah.
That's what I have. Yeah.
And like watching Gio, because as soon as you open that tub, he's like up and he's like gaping and he's like putting on a real show.
Yeah.
And I feel like he ain't as hard as he thinks he is.
The Cobra or Geo?
The Cobra.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm sorry, but there's a famous joking rule. It's you don't free handle African shit, and that's a fact. Like you just don't. Like you don't fuck with African shit. And like I've seen so many guys that, oh, it's an Egyptian cobra, oh, it's a snouted cobra, it's juvenile, whatever. No. That thing will literally springboard backwards and bite you upside down. Like, oh, cobras only strike downwards. Yeah, okay, sure. I actually used to have a video of somebody had a botched garage job venomoid Egyptian cobra that was stunted its growth. It had a weird dimpled head from the poor, garage surgery. It was bad. It was definitively a rehab snake, a rescue snake. And one of my apprentices, who honestly knew what he was doing, he was treating it not like an Egyptian cobra. And it stood up and looked away from him because it was watching his shadow in a vision cage, a 3-foot vision. And the minute he looped the tail with the hook, it went like this and went backwards, and open mouth struck backwards and did almost like a cartwheel on itself out of the cage, almost bit him in the head, and he went like this, and it righted itself to look at him. I'd never seen anything like it. We had it on video. I think it's on my old cell phone. I gotta find that. So
If it's, I don't know. I mean, you know how we were talking about that nerd video yesterday with the big
Right, I didn't get a
mangrove?
chance to see it.
I mean, he was holding that mangrove, and that mangrove was showing no signs of like at that within like a 5 second window or so. It was completely. It looked like it was fine,
Mm-hmm.
and then it like he's holding it. The head comes around and it just grabs the back of his arm right here.
Tricep.
Yeah,
Oof.
and I mean that was a snake. Like that could have been any of mine. That could be any of these ones that people are putting all over their face on Instagram and stuff. Like that snake was not showing any signs that it was going to do any of that. It just did it.
Yeah. And I think it also comes down to both the animal and the handler. When you're in the room, either by yourself or with a co-handler, and you remove something like a boiga, and you're holding it, and everything is chill and calm, and the animal's relaxed, and it's always going to be on high alert because that's its nature. Its nature is to be aware of its surroundings for predation.
And it's not a small boiga either. Yeah,
Right.
It's not a small melanota.
Right. So you've taken the animal out, and everything is cool and chill. But now you've added the camera guy and the sound guy and four other spectators, and now the animal is not focused on one person or two people. It's focused on 6 people or 5 people, and it's just going to be more defensive than it rightfully should. And you're just asking for trouble, man. Dude, the Cynodon freaked out on me yesterday. I wanted to give him a little spritz for preventative mite stuff. And I took him out, and I single hooked him. He was all balled up in a wad, and I just single hooked the ball of snake. And as I started to carry him over, I placed him into the retaining garbage can, and he sprawled out. He started flip flopping his tail, opened his mouth, and gaped at me. And I was like, "What the hell's wrong with you? I didn't even touch the animal." And the minute I sprayed him, oh man, it was on like Donkey Kong. I've never seen a Cynodon flip out like that. Like more than Dendrophila, like just went nuts. And I just sat back and I was like, all right, I'm not touching you. And I put the lid on the trash can, gave him 20 minutes to just chill. And
have your tantrum.
And have your tantrum, right. And then when I was ready to take him out, I tailed him out. He rode a hook beautifully and everything was fine. So.
Yeah, I find that with some of my Cyanea, like that initial like interaction, like until they kind of figure out that there's really nothing that threatening going on.
Yeah, it's the routine.
They're like, all bets are off. If it moves, I'm trying to kill it.
Right.
I got to be careful with my female, man. She's a beast when it comes to food.
Oh yeah.
I opened those doors and I got mice in the room. Like, she's greeting me.
Oh, I can imagine. Excuse me. There's a picture I was looking for earlier, and I saved it.
I really hope his eggs hatch, man. I'm so pumped about that.
Dude, it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so.
I can't wait to see little green heads poking out.
Oh yeah, with the brown bodies, they're gonna be adorable. Super duper adorable. Where the hell is this photo? I thought that I made it a favorite so that I wouldn't have to look for it on the show. I could just show it. And now I can't find it. Damn it.
Maybe I can find some way to trade some of those for some other boiga.
That would be nifty. That would be very nifty.
I need to figure out shipping so I can get some from Nipper, damn it.
Right?
He teased me all day. He's like, dude, I'd send you whatever you wanted. He's like, can't. He's like, you can.
Well, that's like, dude, he's been looking at geckos lately because he's on a gecko kick. And he's sending me all these knobtail pictures. And I'm like, dude, those are amazing specimens. How much is it? And he's like, oh, it's 250 pounds. And I'm like, 250 pounds? Like, that's $3K in the US. What the fuck? Like, I can't import them, though, because they're Australian. And me. Like, it's fucking stupid, man. Oh. I would totally go halvesies on you with a Nipper shipment if I could import the species that I want. Sucks.
Maybe just keep cooler stuff.
What's that?
So maybe just keep cooler stuff. Don't worry about import permits when it's coming from Texas.
Yeah, right. I don't know, man. I think about what Chris said about us doing the RV trip, and I think that would be a monumental friggin' trip.
Rob Stone and them are going. They're
When
going
they
to
go,
go to Australia. I don't know. It's soon. And
where are they going then?
they're going to Texas.
Yeah, but who's all going?
I think it's the NPR guys.
Oh. Wait, is Nipper's not going with them, is he? Because they mentioned about Nipper going to PA, and then from PA going to Arizona.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd go to the freaking landfill up the street from my house with Rob Stone.
True.
Because I bet you'd find something. Like that dude,
True.
legit, personal hero. Rob Stone's at the top of that list, man. He's such a cool guy. Like,
So I liked what you said earlier today. I don't know, was it in our group chat or was it on public Instagram where
who was the group chat?
it was a group chat? Basically,
Tim Morris thing?
what's that?
The Tim Morris thing? Yeah.
Justin had basically said that one of the things he loves most about our hobby and like our world is that our heroes are one of us. And it's such a tight-knit community that we can interact with our heroes, and because they share the same passions that we do. And forgive me if I'm butchering your statement.
That's accurate. I mean, what brought it on is like Tim Morris is a very big fan of the magazine. And if you don't know who Tim Morris is the guy that started the Blue Chondro thing with Trick Walsh back in the day. And I've hung out with him a few times at Daytona Cargo Fest and stuff, and he's like the coolest, most laid-back guy ever. Super down to earth.
You said he hasn't produced chondros in like 10 years, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But he loves the magazine. Like, he's a huge fan of it. He sent me this whole article that I'm going to use in the next issue on just, like, the history of Mr. Blue, like, the Blue Chondro that sort of started it all.
Right.
And, like, he always, like, every post, he likes it. Like, he'll usually message me with each issue and tell me how much he enjoyed it. Like, it's just awesome because it's, like, it's Tim Morris, man. Like, if you're in chondros, like, Tim Morris is a big part of that whole puzzle of what we have now.
Yeah.
And so it's like so cool to me because like cigars, yeah, there's some companies, you know, like Romacraft where, hey, you want to talk to Skip or Mike who own it,
Right.
you can do that. But you have companies like Fuente or like you want to talk to, you know, Fuente Senior, good luck. You know, like music, you know, you could never get to talk to these people. Like they're so far out of arm's reach. Like they're in that higher sort of echelon where you'll never be able to get a hold of them. But like with our stuff, like they're right there. Like I can message Trooper Walsh if I want to.
Yeah.
I can message Mark O'Shea if I want to. Like everyone's just right there. And it just blows my mind because like we're doing the stuff we do, and Rob Stone is like, yeah, man, I listen to the show all the time. Like he messaged me sometimes, and we'll just bullshit, and it's like, fuck, man, it's like, hobby's awesome.
Yeah,
because everyone's just right there.
Yeah, legit.
Dude,
I remember being a kid and watching some show in National Geographic. It was Snake Wranglers or something, and I saw this chubby, bearded guy in Papua New Guinea named Dr. David Williams. And this guy was the taipan guy. And taipan's probably my favorite snake. And I just remember watching him, and then I see like his partner, Owen Pavia, who's a local PNG guy, and they're doing all this, you know, Papuan taipan research. And like, I was just infatuated. I was like, this is so cool. And I remember being on Facebook, and at the time, Facebook, it was just taking off, and it had maybe been out for like 4 or 5 years. And I remember you couldn't be on Facebook unless you were in an actual university or some kind of college. And at the time, I was at community college, and I couldn't make an account. And they just opened it up, and they're like, okay, Facebook's for everyone. Fuck it. And I got on there, and it was like, people you may know, and it said Dr. David Williams. And I was like, oh my God. Oh. And like, I friended him, and he accepted, and I was like, this is so cool. And we chatted about taipans for a little bit. And a couple days later, his man Owen was on there, and I hit up Owen, and we started talking about Taipan and stuff. Now, granted, I haven't talked to them in years. They have no idea who the fuck I am. But that's the same thing, man. Like, I digitally bullshitted with one of my snake idols about one of my favorite snakes. It was super cool. You know?
Well, it's funny too because you talk to guys like Tim Morris and James O'Dowd, and like because they are so hyped and you hear their names so much in the corner of that corner of the hobby and stuff like that, you're like, man, these guys, like, they must not have anything else, like any time to talk to someone they don't even know like me. And then you go and talk to him, and James is like one of the funniest guys you'll ever meet in your life. Like, hanging out with James O'Dowd, oh my god, dude, that guy's hilarious, especially when he's around Cody. Oh, it's great. And then Tim Morris, like I said, he's like the most down to earth. He's fairly quiet. He just kind of like, he talks, but he's not. He's just like, I love it, and that's the kind of stuff that, like, if or when I ever get to that sort of level, like, that's how I want to be.
Yeah.
I hope I'm like that now. I don't have time for people, like, you send me a message, it's like, whatever. Like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I love the, like, humility and being humble are, like, very big things to me.
Well, I will say that having so, like, all right, the same way that you fanboy over Tim Morris and I fanboy over Dr. David Williams, like, us fanboying, I don't want to say, like, we looked up to them. They're impersonal mentors to us, inspirational to us. But, like, the old joke is never meet your heroes. And, like, I remember being a kid and growing up and watching action movies and, like, dude, Steven Seagal was awesome. And then I met Steven Seagal in my line of work, and he sucks. And I was like,
somehow
really?
I don't doubt that.
This is it. And I again, maybe it was just that one time. Maybe it was because of the setting we were in or what we were doing. But he was polite. He was nice. But it wasn't the dude I grew up watching in action movies. You know what I mean? So
was the cook from Under Siege.
Yeah, right. No, it was him getting killed in the first 5 seconds of Executive Decisions.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I'm lucky to consider Tim a friend. I consider Rob a friend, and that's the thing about Rob Stone that blows my mind, man. Is he's like not that much older than you and I. I mean, he's like mid-30s.
Yeah.
And the amount of information that guy knows, and considering how young he is, the amount of stuff he's done and stuff he's kept, it's like, oh my god! Like, when we had him on the podcast, man, I know we talked about this before, but he's like, oh, I'll send you a few pictures of stuff I kept, and so we're thinking it's like 10, 20 pictures of stuff, whatever. Dude, it kept going and going and going. I mean, he must have sent us probably 150 pictures, and every time it was like, you've kept that too?
But now let me ask you this. Obviously, I'm not trying to take away from any of his accolades in the least capacity because the guy's fucking master level, but how many of those animals did he keep for a short time and then sold or traded?
No.
Or did he actually work with the dude?
Stuff he was, like, dedicated to.
Yeah. Okay. And dude, I told you when he hit me up on Facebook, and he messaged me on Facebook, and he's like, I just sent you a friend request. How come we're not friends already? And I was like, I thought we were, to be honest. I thought it was like, oh, we're Facebook friends and like never talk, but apparently we weren't.
No, Rob's, man, he's, like I said, that guy just, you want to know anything about anything, and I guarantee you he at least knows a tidbit about it.
Yeah.
But most likely knows more than you would think. Like,
and dude, I'll be honest, I had a surreal moment last month when I was at my cousin just moved into a new apartment, and I helped him move, and we were just hanging out he finished putting everything where it goes, and he cooked me dinner, and we were just hanging out on the couch watching something stupid, and Scott from Australia calls me on Facebook, and I was like, oh my god, like, first of all, this individual knows who I am. That's fucking awesome. Second of all, how do I tell him that I fucked up, and twice I missed out on buying his book. But dude, he called me and he just wanted to bullshit about venomous nonsense, and it's just amazing that we get to interact with our inspirational people. And I'm
Or
talking.
how about just the mere fact that someone from Australia just called you on a whim?
Yes, on a whim. And that's what I was going to add. Not only was it someone, an influential herper from Australia, on a whim, literally in the future, and the phone call was free. It was a free long-distance phone call. So we talked for maybe like 30, 40 minutes, and like my cousin was like, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" I was like, "I can't. I have to talk to him. Like this is crazy. I have to talk to him." He's like, my cousin's like, "Who are you talking to?" I was like, "The awesome guy in Australia." He goes, "In Australia?" And I was like, "Shh, yeah.
I'll explain later.
I'll explain later. Just let me talk." And it may have been 40 minutes. It may be 20 or 30 minutes. But still, like, the fact that A, we have the technology to physically do that, and B, it's someone as cool as him, as awesome as him, calling me from the future. Crazy.
We live in an interesting time, man.
Right? We do.
I think it's one of the best and worst times to be in the hobby.
Yeah.
Best because you have like unlimited amounts of information and people at your fingertips that you can talk to and pick their brain. At the same time, you have unlimited information and people to pick and talk to. And
yeah, so, I've been thinking a lot about that. It was like, man, if we had the physical resources of 20 years ago with the technology and the thought process of today, we would be phenomenal. Not saying that we're not, but we would be 10 times better than we are.
Do you think the hobby would be better, though, if we had this stuff earlier, like all the technology earlier?
No, I think it would be better if we had the mindset. Because the mindset of the past was, oh, I'll buy one next time, or, oh, those don't do well, don't buy them. And now it's, what are we doing wrong? Why isn't this animal doing well? And damn, I'd love to have that, but I'll never have that because it's, highly protected because we fucked it up. You know what I mean? Or whatever. That was the whole thing is, oh, I'll just get another one next shipment. And then it stopped because some asshole accidentally let, 20,000 endangered chameleons fly when they weren't supposed to even ship one. And now the animal is basically fucked, and now it's ruined.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're on the right track, man. I really do. I think we're doing great things. I think the internet is amazing, and it also sucks. But we're beating a dead horse with that topic.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I think that it's done us more bad than good, and then sometimes I think it's done more good than bad. But I feel like it's fairly equal.
Yeah. On a lighter note, what's that?
The spread's pretty even.
Yeah. I was going to say, on a lighter note, Thomas says that he's always been into Spitalaps. And I thoroughly loved the Spitalaps until I kept a lot of them. And then I realized that I really don't like them. I think they're really cool if you have one or two. I would not recommend more than that. They're a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. They rarely ride a hook. They can be quite finicky eaters. When they are feeding, they're usually trying to kill you and not eat their food. And
is there any cobra that doesn't do that?
Yeah, there's a lot. And then when they're very small, because they don't ride a hook and because they're so spastic, Henry and I actually dipped giant tweezers in rubber and just grabbed them with tweezers because there's no other way to take them out of their enclosure. So I think Spitalaps are really cool, but I think that you got to really like them and only have a couple. Don't have a lot. Just my advice.
See, he came to his senses at Daytona and got some bears.
He did. Most definitely did.
Finally, people will get it. People will understand.
Dude, that was the first time I'd seen that many. I mean, dude, be honest, I never really gave them any thought whatsoever before meeting you. But now I'm noticing it. And I not to toot your horn, but Justin Smith, the Bear King of the South, spreading the gospel. I love it.
I need to pair mine again.
And dude, like I know you keep talking about like Loma Alta. Those things are fucking dope. They really are.
Those should be ready next year.
Cool. Very cool.
Unless I somehow come across an adult female by the end of the year. But I'm curious, man, because I've been thinking about it. I have that hypo male, right?
Right.
I don't have a het. I don't have a visual female. But I am very curious to start sort of playing with that and tying it into like the Loma Alta stuff and the Mexican stuff just to see kind of what happens. At the same time, I don't want to play that mad scientist thing and like, not that the locality and purity thing is as serious in Baird's as it is like Turna for whatever reason, but I don't know. It's like I have these Baird's. I have no idea what they'll look like as adults, especially when you're pairing like the hypo. I mean, they'd be hets regardless.
Right.
But
so the hypo is a legitimate genetic abnormality. It's not just a lighter colored one.
Yeah, no, it's legit. Everyone thinks it's albino. They're hypos.
Okay.
Maybe it's the other way around. I think it's hypo.
You always called it hypo.
It gets they get interchangeably used a lot. People say albino. Some people say hypo. I believe it is technically a hypo.
Are there any albinos or not?
No. Let's see. Let me make sure.
Well, that's cool, Vic.
It's saying T+, but it's in the book. I just don't remember.
In the Sabak book?
Yeah.
Cool.
I just think they get so twisted up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those would be hets, and so I'm curious, just like throwing that into sort of the Mexican blood and seeing what happens in the Loma Alta blood, and I don't know. Like, I want to do it just because I'm interested to see what happens, but I'm also like, I don't want to be sending out stuff that people are gonna just sell off and not, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Forget to mention, oh, it's a mutt, and oh, it's het. You know.
Yeah. What bears does Chris have?
He doesn't have any.
He doesn't have any? I thought he had every species of rat snake in North America. I thought Chris had every species of rat snake. Or is that his goal?
I think that's his goal. He doesn't have any bears. He's waiting on me to produce some before he gets some. So.
Dude, if I was him, I'd be making weekend trips, bro.
Right?
For realsies.
I'm still waiting for. I need to talk to Kyle again because I told Kyle I was like, keep an eye out.
Yeah, dude, Kyle's been pumping out some awesome stuff, and there's, I guess, 2 or 3 other buddies of his, West Texas dudes, that are coming out with some amazing photography. But it's crazy. I haven't talked to Kyle in maybe 2.
Well, I need to talk to him about mice because I need to figure out where he gets his, the extra stuff he feeds. Because now that I have the mice and stuff, I definitely want to start giving them some supplemental food instead of just diet and
Yeah.
Give them some almonds and nuts and. I wonder if they'd eat. Do you think they'd eat dried mealworms?
Nice, absolutely. Absolutely.
I believe I follow her on Instagram.
Where is Ivory Exotics?
Let's see. Let me take a look. Someone just messaged the Buford Tobacco page asking for a year of the rat. Why would you want that? Dude, it was not. I mean, it's not bad, but I was like, for a $20 cigar, this should be better.
Henry says they're in South Africa.
They're in Florida.
Florida.
Plant City.
Plant City. I think I know that girl.
They got some neat stuff. Some Imantides, which I think is pretty neat. No one's keeping those. That was a species I was obsessed with as a kid.
What?
Imantides, the blunt-headed.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Is Brittany and her boyfriend, I guess they were doing some venomous stuff too, or getting their hours too. I don't know if it was with Carl and the middle Florida area.
They got the Xenodon Werner eye, which are those bilineata mimics.
Yep. Very cool.
They got Jansen eye. They got neat stuff. That's a big ass parrot snake. Good dog.
Interesting.
Dude, those dry Mobius racers are so cool.
Oh, yeah?
Have you seen those things?
No, what's it look like?
What?
There's too many snakes in my head, bro. Show me that shit. Oh, do you remember me and Nipper were getting hard-ons for the Montpelier snakes?
Mm-hmm.
Underground imported a few from, I believe, North Africa somewhere. And I missed out, and all the really, really pretty ones sold like the first day, and now I'm kind of kicking myself about it. Well, that's cool looking. It's very cool. It's like a terrestrial paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. You know what I really like that I never really got into were those African bush snakes, the ones that mimic the mambas. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
They're a small, semi-arboreal colubrid that is very thin-bodied, lime green, like crazy lime green, big, big, pretty eyes, and they have a jet black mouth on the inside, and they flash their mouth open like a mamba, and they act like a mamba. Some people actually call them false mambas, but they only get like 5 foot, and it's like thick as your index finger. They're really thin snakes, but they're super cool. They're literally like a poor man's mamba. It's awesome. But because they open their mouth, they gape. Well, let me see if I can. African bush.
Dude, they've got some teal frenatum that are freaking sweet too. There's Ganya. Let me see. I don't think they're not Ganya Soma. There's something else.
Here, check this shit out, sir.
Oh, I guess they are Ganya Soma frenatum. Dude, you ain't kidding, man. Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. This is block. It's being blocked by the logo. Why is this not loading? Why are you not loading?
Look at that big old Chloricus.
There we go. That's what I want to show. How cool is that?
It's like the African version of a parrot snake.
Yeah, pretty much. Wait, how is the HM logo there?
I don't know.
You see that? Oh, look at you. Slick.
When I stream me like doing the magazine design, I throw up the HM one.
Oh, that's cool. I was like, dude, we didn't use that picture. Still cool.
God. See, I'm jealous of all this stuff, but at the same time, it's like, most of these snakes are probably a massive pain in the ass to keep alive.
Most definitely. Well, it's like what Victor was saying is she deals with all kinds of obscure snakes. Right up your alley, Justin.
Which
Dominique,
it is.
thank you for joining. Good night. So,
Let me see. There's a species called Thrassops.
Thrassops is awesome. Love Thrassops.
She's got some. What are those native to?
Africa.
Looks like a freaking boomslang one of
Yeah,
them.
Thrassops jacksoni. Right? Jet black.
She has the Occidentalis.
Oh, does she? Throw that picture up. Let me see that. Yeah, the Thrassops is actually rear fang mildly venomous, and there was a big misconception that they were lethal because people were getting bit by boomslangs, assuming that they were Thrassops, and like people were dying, and they're like, "Oh my god, these Thrassops are super toxic," and they're really not that toxic. But I mean, obviously, venom is venom. You don't want to get bit regardless. But oh wow, look at that thing! I've never seen that before. That's amazing. That's cool. Nice. Asian vines.
Little Chansonine.
Oh, damn. That is a cute little Chansonine.
Dude, I hope I can breed those things. I hope I can make that happen.
Yeah.
There's that Xenodon.
Nice.
I can see, dude, climbing a tree. If I saw that in a tree in Africa, I'd be like, that's a freaking boomslang. Like, at first glance,
Yeah.
without
So
a doubt. It's just that, that scalation is so, that is,
Yeah. So see how the face is green with the yellow and green going down the neck?
yeah.
As they get older, that just gets jet black, like rich oil slick black. Yeah, I had them at Strictly, man. They were super cool. Super cool.
I would definitely have some Langaha if I had a regular supply of lizards, man. Like, that's a cool group of snakes. And the more Nipper talks about them, the more I'm tempted.
I noticed you gave him executive status.
I did after getting enough. He gave me enough shit.
Yeah, right. It's good.
But you should have had it from the beginning because
He should have.
Yeah, see, I know what you're talking about. See, now that's all.
Yeah. Is that the
Right
same
now.
exact specimen?
I don't think so.
Okay.
She got Oxybellus, which I thought was pretty cool. You don't see those too very often.
Yeah.
Look at that parrot snake, dude. I've never seen one that big.
That's a diesel import. Diesel. That's not good. What are we looking at here?
I don't know. Oh, right up yonder. There's this Drymobius.
Oh, very cool.
More Oxybellus.
Nice. Yeah, man, she definitely has the obscure stuff. Very cool.
See, these I just find like so cool that she has these.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I wonder like what she's feeding them. Like I said, man, as a kid, I wanted some of those so bad. I was like obsessed.
And those are South American?
Yeah.
It's
South-
like it reminds me of a South American Telescopus.
Yeah, I guess it's
Yeah. I definitely want Telescopus semi-annulatus. I really would like the Tanzanian tigers. I really want that.
yeah. There's a blue Fernatum.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Gorgeous. Man, the people that are listening to this as a podcast tomorrow, they're going to hate this episode.
Asian vines would be cool. Like I think it's cool that she has the like not the Prasinna, but the Mysterizans, I guess is how you pronounce it.
I don't know.
They're not the normal vine snakes that you see coming in. Like, that's the other species that's harder to get.
Is that another Jackson eye?
Yeah. Occidentalis.
Oh, that's awesome, Dallas.
Just looks like it's made of freaking steel, dude.
It does.
Like that black braided cable they use to hold bridges together.
Well, you know what it looks like? It looks like samurai armor. Like shingles. Yeah. Shingled samurai armor.
See, if I did that with any of mine, like if I did that with the Jansen eye, they'd try and light my ass up or take off. And if I did it with the Condors, they'd think they were getting fed and they'd probably bite me.
Probably.
That's so cool, though. That's got such a good feeling, too. Like when you put a fresh bowl of water in there and you see the snake go right over and just drink for like 5 minutes straight.
Well, like it also, like, all right, so for those
Here's what we're talking about.
There you go. So for those of you who can't see what we're talking about, there's a juvenile Thrasops, and she has a large gauge syringe full of water, and she's drip drinking it water from the syringe. And the Thrasops is sitting there drinking it. It's cute as a button. And it makes me wonder if that animal was actually captive produced, because I find it hard to believe that an animal as observant and as aware of its surroundings as Thrasops would be that inclined to drink in that regard. Like, I feel like a captive bred animal is going to drink from its water bowl, or it's going to drink dew or whatever.
Yeah.
Be sufficiently hydrated. I feel like that animal was an import, and it doesn't necessarily know that that water bowl at the bottom of the enclosure is clean or fresh or whatever, but it knows that rain and dripping is a suitable form of moisture.
Dude, I'm so jealous he has these freaking blonde-headed tree snakes.
They're cool, man.
You know what's interesting? I wonder if if you go down the link far enough, that there's some sort of relation of these to Boiga, because Boiga have these same really large scales along the spine.
Right.
And it makes me wonder if they were at some point related.
Yeah.
See, Oxybella, I never even heard of Oxybellus wilsoni. Like, I didn't even know there was another species of that.
Yeah, like, now, hold on. Is that just a lightly colored one, or is that a different species?
It's a different species. That's Oxybellus wilsoni. That's not Oxybellus
wilsoni. Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing.
That's not
like,
the
where does
Gillis
this
or
stuff come
whatever.
from?
That's... See, I've seen Maleri bring those in.
Yeah. Damn it, Victor. Why'd you have to show us this shit, bro?
Bastard.
Right?
Not an animal to casually free handle, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah, right?
That's cool. See, I've never seen
Oh, yeah, look at it
the
flared out.
Langaha, yeah, with the hooding sort of thing.
Yeah, that's super cool. Now, forgive me, that red is part of the dimorphism, or is that just like fired up?
No, I think that's that color.
Okay.
I believe that's a male, because I think males have they are dimorphic from the nose appendage.
Right.
I think that's a male. Let's see. No, that's a female. Okay. So I'll have to go back to the magazine and read Nipper's article to remember.
Dude, it's awesome, because like we read so much shit, and it's so hard to retain so much of it. Ugh.
I like to think I retain all the important stuff.
Oh, of course. Of course, absolutely. Hey, scroll up for a second. What was that thing? On the left? Oh, keep going. That right there on the left. What is that? Ball
It's a
pythons?
Langaha.
No.
Oh, yeah.
The ball pythons?
Clown somethings.
Oh, wow, that caught my eye. That's pretty fucking cool looking.
Pretty cool looking for a rock. Who produced this? Doesn't say. Good looking chondro. What is this, a patch nose? That's cool looking.
That's real cool.
I've never seen one like that.
What is that thing striking the camera?
That's one of the Frenatum. One of those
Oh,
Gonostoma. Apparently, compared to the rhinos, they're much more pissy. So.
Right.
Oh, that's a nice pairing. They were produced by Patrick Holmes. Yeah, I thought so, because when I saw that neonate up higher, I was like, that looks like one of the ones Patrick produced.
Yeah.
Sure as enough. What is this freaking thing? Sonoran ground snake?
Didn't even know it existed.
Agreed. Another Frenatum. That's another dream species.
Yeah, that's good.
God, those are hard to find now, though. See, these things are cool. Like, this is the Oxybellus, that other one that you see more often.
Yeah. And see, dude, I would never, ever do that. That is a sure way to get fucked up. Oof. Very cool.
I don't know, man. I'm not down to play that game and roll those dice.
Not about it. Not about it.
You want to be the guinea pig? Feel free. Let me know how it goes. How much it sucks. So I can avoid it for sure. Well, I believe it is bedtime.
Yes, sir.
So we've probably pissed off the people enough by talking about all these awesome things and them not being able to see it.
Yeah, yeah. I won't be too upset when the listening downloads is not that keen.
We'll be all right.
Always next week. Same snake time, same snake
I
channel.
do. I'm gonna talk to her about Imantides. Even though we don't need more snake stuff, I'm gonna talk to her.
Yeah, I won't lie. I've been trying the tools article I wanted to write for a long time, and I just kind of backburnered it. But I'm really trying to search my soul is to write something that's not snake related, and it's very difficult. I won't lie.
Yeah,
We're working on it.
we are working on it. So
Well, thank you
see
to all.
later.
Good night.
Thank you, as Phil was saying, to
Yes.
all.
Thank you. Go the fuck to bed.
Fair enough.
Goodbye.
Later.